Good morning. We will be getting ready to begin hog showmanship in 10 minutes. There are two heats of 18-year-old showmanship. The first heat needs to be getting ready in the barns. These exhibitors are Shelby Highfield, Hannah Heller, Madeline Griffith, Nathaniel Royce, and Brooklyn Wareham. Attention in the barns, if you forgot to sign your clover bud up for Peewee Showmanship, the sign-up sheet is on the table behind the show stand. Just a reminder, for your child to participate in Peewee Showmanship, they must be at least clover bud age. Anyone under the age of 5 will not be able to participate. The second heat of 18-year-old showmen need to be getting ready in the barns. These exhibitors are Kaylin Williams, Madeline Badai, Connor Ninenchuk, Amber Averwater, and Lillian Nichols. The following exhibitors need to be making their way to the show arena at this time. It is the first heat of 18-year-old showmanship. These exhibitors are Shelby Highfield, Hannah Heller, Madeline Griffith, Nathaniel Royce, and Brooklyn Wareham. As a reminder, we do not print show bills for showmanship. If you are interested in knowing what heat or division your child is in, the show bill will be posted to the Clermont County Junior Fair Facebook page momentarily. Entering the show arena at this time is our first heat of 18-year-old showmen. These exhibitors are Shelby Highfield, Hannah Heller, Madeline Griffith, Nathaniel Royce, and Brooklyn Wareham. The following exhibitors need to be making their way to the show arena at this time. Second heat of 18-year-old showmen, Kaylin Williams, Madeline Badai, Connor Ninenchuk, and Lillian Nichols. 17-year-old showmen need to be getting ready in the barns. This exhibitor is Angela Jones.
Good morning, everyone. It certainly is a pleasure to be here and work with your young people today and sort through your county born and bred later in the morning. Been on the road a few days coming from Columbus from the state fair, and certainly as we get out here in your first class of 18-year-olds, you have some kids here in this county. I hope make that trip either earlier in this week or hopefully in the next week. The water's deep here as we get started. Going to take the trio of ladies wearing paisley to come back for your final go-round in this 18-year-old division. For our other two that we're going to let back to the barn here, just some little things. Obviously, the young lady there with the white one wanting to fight her a bit on the rail, just need to see that one out in the middle more often. Our young man here with the belted barrel, just need to see that one get on the move for you a little bit more. Like to see a bit faster pace out of these, get them driven a little bit better. But again, we'll bring the three ladies back for our final go here in the 18-year-olds. Let's give them a hand. We'll get on with our show here.
Madeline Badai, you have 2 minutes to be in the show arena. Entering the show arena at this time is the second heat of 18-year-old showmen. These exhibitors are Tyler Barkhurst, Kaylin Williams, Connor Ninenchuk, Lillian Nichols, and Madeline Badai. Madeline Badai, this is your final call to enter the show arena at this time. Making their way to the show arena needs to be 17-year-old showman Angela Jones. Getting ready in the barns needs to be 16-year-old showman. These exhibitors are Kaylee Jennings, Anya Nelson, Waylon Sr., Emma Reed, Stacy Arthur, Riley Lawbaugh, Jenna Stahl, Alex Bosom, and Michaela Blankenship. Judge, this is your class.
We would like to introduce our judge for this morning. Our judge for today is Danny Arns from Ravenna, Ohio. Danny manages his family show pig facility with his father and is the founder of Common Denominator Show Pig Camps. He is also a 6th grade math teacher. Danny has been judging swine for 20 years across the Midwest and East Coast and is passionate about making each showman the best they can be. Please give our judge a round of applause.
If you're watching, trying to get your younger exhibitor to kind of know what the trend of the day is going to be, these three girls are very, very close. They just sorted themselves on one single move. When I follow in right behind them, I want to see that pig drive straight away from me. There's no need to run around its head. There's no need to turn it. When I settle in behind that pig today, I want you to drive just straight away from me in as straight a line as you can. When you run into the gate, have a plan on which way you're going to go. But for me, that's where these three ladies sort themselves. Young lady driving the blue belted one handled it perfectly. She'll be your champion here today. Our ladies that then fall into 2 and 3, both of them kind of made that same mistake, I guess, in terms of hitting that turn when I settled in right behind them. So then how do you sort them within each other? And really, I think so much of it, fortunately, unfortunately for one and then for the other, just simply comes down to the markings on the pig. You know, when you're driving these white ones, you got to be a little bit lighter on them. For me, that one got a little bit too marked up in our drive. Had to fight it a little bit more. Maybe came a bit easier for young lady with traditional better one. She'll be 2. Our other young lady here will be 3. Great job to both of them. Our young lady here that comes out of 4, I think one that has certainly probably given these others a run for their money in the past. One today, I told her that barrow just let her down. That one, unfortunately, doesn't have the running gear that these other 3 have. We just simply need to see that one catch another gear, get going a bit faster to work up the line anymore. Before our show started, I told the young man he had all the weight and pressure on him representing all the boys out here. I understand maybe the other gentlemen were a little scared of this top 4 out here, but I love his work ethic. I love that about him. He absolutely wants this and wants so much out of that pig. Maybe just got a tad quick on the whip for me at times. And then our other 2 young ladies had ones, again, maybe just didn't cooperate as much, wanted to get a bit further, wanted to find that exit gate. I know we had to show here on Tuesday ones we just simply need to see out in the center more often. But tremendous class of 18-year-olds here to get us started.
Sixteen-year-olds need to be making their way to the holding pens. These exhibitors are Kaylee Jennings, Anya Nelson, Waylon Sr., Emma Reed, Stacy Arthur, Riley Labaugh, Jenna Stahl, Alex Bosom, and Michaela Blankenship. Please be making your way to the holding pens.
Well, similarly, maybe to our boys in the last stage group, I think everybody else was scared to come against this showman here today. Only one 17-year-old out here, but, has a gilt that maybe gets a little bit louder, but one that certainly can drive up-headed, good-looking type of gilt. Just maybe relax on that whip if you get to come back out for a final drive against some of our other competitors today. Kind of listen to that gilt and know when she's talking to you. But in general, I can tell you spent the time at home. That's one that can get out and elevate its head and get out and drive for you. That's what we like to see. Again, let's give this exhibitor a hand as they head out. They'll be your champion 17-year-old.
Congratulations, age 18, Swine Showmanship. First place, Madeline Griffith. Second place, Shelby Highfield. Third place, Hannah Heller. And fourth place, Tyler Barkers. Congratulations, age 17, Swine Showmanship. First place, Angela Jones.
Still kind of sorting to find our fifth one here. For the three that we have left out that aren't going to make it, for sure, a couple pointers, I guess, for you guys to try to improve, and so the younger kids here too. Each of the gentlemen at different times, I caught you kind of cut between your hog and myself, especially when you went down here to this side of the rail. We want to make sure we're keeping that pig between yourself and the judge at all times. Work on that head turn just a little bit. Maybe have that extra level of control to be able to remain out here in the center. For other young lady that's not going to make it through, has the smaller gilt out there on the far side. You know, that gilt's just not wanting to do anything for it today. Wants to get out away from her a little bit too much. Kind of has a mind of its own out here. For our two that are working their tail off still continuously, in my mind, they're really close to make it up here to resort our top five. You know, subtle differences between them. So, you know, one's maybe working a little bit harder that maybe doesn't come as natural. And both these girls, for me, the reason they're not in a pen already, both of them get tighter in their turns. We want to see those hogs kind of get out here and navigate almost as if you were driving a golf cart around, not so much the zero-turn lawnmower. So, you know, as you use the ring today, don't be afraid, especially we're a little bit narrow here. Don't be afraid to take that turn wider. You know, if either of these would do that, they'd accelerate their way like those top four have. For me, I probably just sort them on posture and first impression. For me, we'll keep back our young lady with the black hog that looks a little more comfortable. Take nothing away from our other young lady here in white. We're going to be sending back to the barn. You can go ahead and pen yours if you want. Get it refreshed. We'll drop you out here in a minute against our others. The young lady in white, again, does a really good job. For me, it is just that posture. If we could change you just a little bit there, make it look more comfortable. But I can tell you, spent all summer with this barrel. Got them absolutely broke and dialed in. Do a great job. I'm sure in the future you'll give these others a run for their money. Let's give them all a hand as these ones head back to the barn.
Age 15-year-olds of Swine Showmanship can be making their way to the holding pens. These exhibitors are Eden Myers, Mason Ross, Hunter Ross, Riley Ealing, Savannah Pennington, and Lance Cornwell. We need the first heat of 15-year-old Swine Showmanship to be entering the holding pens. His exhibitors are Eden Myers, Mason Ross, Hunter Ross, Riley Ealing, Savannah Pennington, and Lance Cornwell.
Well, as long as I took in this particular division, it was never a doubt in my mind which exhibitor was going to win. I think there's one that is quite superior to the rest. Again, I don't mean to beat up on the other four, but there's one out here that for me, if you're a young kid in the audience and you need a mentor, somebody to look up to, one that can flat out stick a hog at any level and get out and get it shown. It's kind of ironic to me that maybe not driving the best hog in the world, but one that can absolutely motor for showmanship. I hope it's got a bunch left in the tank for our final drive later. Young lady in the blues, your champion by quite a lot for me. For our other four, it gets very, very close. I could listen to you argue any one of them to the top. I've had them all second to fifth in my mind at different times. For me, as you talk about showmanship, we want to worry about lines and angles and all those things. But at the end of the day, sometimes it's just who can flat out stick a hog the best in terms of having one looking right all the time, doesn't get bunched up on the corners, head always looks elevated in the correct positions, does a lot of things right. Maybe the best skin and hair we've seen among any of them throughout the day. Young lady, solid black one out here in the green paisley. She's going to be your reserve. Another one that, again, eye contact is just absolutely superior, brings her to the top of the class. Young lady driving at me here with the belted one. She's going to be our next out. If I could just get that barrow to speed up a little bit for her, that's where the young lady in second really beat her. If we could just get that one, have a little better attitude, drive a little bit better, and then going to run with our young man here in four. I think he had a more solid first impression. One that did really, really good out of the gate as the show wore on that barrel. Wanted to give out on him a little bit, but man, I loved his first impression out of the gate. Was absolutely spot on. Again, has a hog that's kind of dialed in here for the show today as well. Our young lady that worked her way into five does a tremendous job. Love the attitude, love the work ethic, love that about her. Never quit kind of attitude. Does a lot of things right. Again, she did a better job in that second go of using more of the ring. Love that about her. A great showman here. Hope him well in the future.
The second heat of age 15 Swine Showmanship can be making their way to the holding pens. These exhibitors are Cameron Hall, Peyton Smith, Nicholas Cottle, and Leah Riley.
never know what's coming in that next heat. I'm just going to keep all three back. We'll make it simple. We're going to excuse the young man with the Berkshire. Does win champion mullet of the day, but just that Berkshire gilt maybe doesn't have that same get up and go type of attitude for him. Need to see that one just out in the center more often like he is now, but need to see her on the move. She got a bit too start and stop. We'll just let our other three catch a pen. We'll see what the next heat brings here. You notice in this heat, two of these guys made the pens immediately. It's always one of those things that can maybe get some of the naysayers talking in the audience. And I just want to tell you, I don't know a soul down here other than I think I maybe saw one breeder on the sidelines that I knew, but it has nothing to do with who they are. I have no clue, but I'm telling you, at the end of the day, I want to know who those two guys are, and the rest of you all should too, because the minute they hit that pen, I knew they were here to win. They could flat out stick one, skin and hair's on point. The first 3 steps, those first impressions mean so much. It's one of those things that send them straight to a pin, similar to our young lady that wins that last division. For our other 2 that we're going to keep back, as much as I care about your champion, I do care just as much about 5th place. I'm not sure if you do a premier exhibitor here, if any of those point deals matter, but I think our 2 exhibitors driving the belted hogs maybe just a hair better than maybe 1 or 2 of those that we held back in the other drive. So we'll keep several back here. I think we're going to have 7 for our final run. We'll give these a chance here, but for our 3 that we're dismissing and sending out, just missing that same level of control. I love the calm, cool collectedness of our taller young man out there at the black saddle barrel. That's one just absolutely easy going. Love that about him. Just maybe didn't command the same presence and poise as some of the others that we kept back. And then for our other 2, those hogs just wanting to run on them too much. But again, let's give these exhibitors a hand as they head back to the pens.
Age 14, Swine Showmanship can be making their way to the holding pens. These exhibitors are Savannah Smith, Riley Carnahan, Jonathan Noss, Caitlin Brandenburg, Chloe Stam, Olivia Liming, Jaden Swader, and Tucker Denton.
Well, I hope we didn't do anything too bad for these hogs for the show later in terms of overdriving them. But guys, I could watch these two young men show pigs and showmanship all day long, do an absolutely outstanding job in terms of getting them presented, getting them stuck, and honestly, it took me a while to figure out that they were even brothers, yet alone twins. I was looking down at the pig as they were driving them, but I tried to get the boys to maybe want to sabotage each other here a little bit, but neither one of them went for it. But as we get into it, guys, absolutely incredible in terms of the relationship that they have with these animals. For some of you kids that have had them running, maybe on the fence a little bit today, go home and ask these boys how much time per day they spend with each one of these hogs, and you might be a little bit surprised at their answer. I'm sure you don't get this here today at this level without an incredible amount of work and just the amount of effort that it takes to get to this level. I challenged both of these boys a few different times. When I went to the umpire stance, I told them either one of them could have won if they would have just drove at me or drove straight away, sort themselves maybe a little bit there. Neither one did it. To me, as we get out here, maybe it's because of the pigs, maybe it's just the attitude of the showman. Today out here, one of them's kind of been the leader, one's been a little bit more of the follower. I'm going to take the one that's kind of taken the lead a little bit more. Young man in red beer champion, young man in pink beer reserve. For the rest of you on down the line, oh boy, you got a few rough years ahead of you with these two ahead of you in line. But I tell you guys, the young lady here is right on your heels. She does an absolutely incredible job in terms of getting that one out and getting it driven. Maybe didn't come through her heat just as strongly as maybe the two young men did on that first impression. I visited with her a little bit just about whip placement, especially on that backhand when she goes over top of that pig's neck. We get her just a little better positioning around that gilt. I tell you, boys, she's coming for you in the future. As we drop our next ones out, very similar in terms of things that maybe got them where they are, maybe turns just a little bit too tight, maybe didn't have them out in the center as often, but a great group of showmen here in this particular age division. We can give them all a hand as they head on back.
Chloe, Sam, and Tucker Denton, you have 2 minutes to be making your way to the show right now. Congratulations, age 15 Swine Showmanship. First place, Mason Ross. Second place, Hunter Ross. Third place, Eda Myers. Fourth place, Eric Nelson. And fifth place, Lance Cornwell. Tucker, Denton, and Chloe Stam, you have 1 minute to be making your way to the show arena. Judges for class. The first heat of age 13 Swine Showmanship can be making their way to the holding pens. These exhibitors are Scarlett Lucky, Allie Morrison, Addison Sloan, Kylie Bosom, and Xander Fishback.
Well, again, as long as that last drive took, this one can go equally as fast, I guess, in terms of just making my decision and trying to get out here and go. And, the exhibitor that I plan on leading this thing with, see if it took me a minute there. I wanted to make sure they got themselves back to the middle. One little slip up there, maybe working toward the exit at the end, but the two to my right here obviously work themselves to the top. If you can't see that, I challenge you to look in with a little bit more neutral opinion, I guess. But it is definitely between our young man and our young lady there. Just as I grabbed the mic, he got hung up in the exit gate a little bit, maybe the only mistake he's made throughout the drive. Whereas our young lady here at times, I'd love to see that barrow catch another gear. I don't think he can. I don't think he has it in him. She does a great job. To me, she doesn't come with the same fierceness and just presence of maybe our young man. I absolutely love that about him. I'm kind of scared if I don't use him, I might have 4 flat tires when I go back out here later. But I love that fierceness and come get me attitude. Young man will be your champion. Young lady here will be reserve. As we get into third through fifth, our young lady with the belted one's going to be 3. She had some really good passes there through the middle. Had that one that, maybe a little bit harder to drive when it did get on the fence over there, but one that when it does get out and go for it, does an excellent job. Just need to see that one in the middle more often. Our young lady in 4 here with the Calico Guild, again, one that maybe structurally doesn't allow that one to get out and go as well, but does a great job getting the most they can out of that particular gilt. And then we had our escape artist there, the white one. That one wanted to find a fence the whole time. Just need to see that one out in the center more often. But a great group of showmen here, especially at your top end.
The second heat of age 13 Swine Showmanship can be making their way to the holding pens. These exhibitors are Nolan Armour, Kemper Shepard, Madeline Royce, Ace Tyndall, and Olivia Havarilla.
Took a while there to find fifth in this age group. I think all four of these exhibitors are very, very close that we have left out, as are maybe the four that we have in the pens already. But, again, I like to place just as much emphasis on fifth or even eighth place as we do into our champion. But, for the other three that we have left out here, the young lady in the white, to me, is the next closest. She gets some really good drives on the side profile out of that one. For me, as you continue to work on your skills as a stockman, we definitely need to improve the skin and hair in that one compared with some of the ones that make the pens over here. And then also just maintain that same level that you get when you get out here on the side. We've had several of them here kind of get bottled, but we can open that gate, guys. We can let them roll as they go out. It's one of those things that, these hogs have been out in this ring a time or two. I'm not sure if you practice out here through the week, but we've had a number of them that kind of get bottled up out there. I think the young man in front of me, if he could stay out here, certainly works his way probably into the top four in this group. That one just wanted to find the fence, but I tell you, when he's in the center, he's as good as any of them out here. Does a great job. Good luck to them in their future as they progress through the project.
Age 12 Swine Showmanship can be making their way to the holding pens. These exhibitors are Pascal Stahl, Addison Strawman, Landon Blankenship, and Jax Dodson.
certainly a challenging age division because the one off the first impression I thought I was going to use, the young lady's white one. Unfortunately, when it came back out in the second round, that gilt, I think that particular one maybe ready to be bred this week rather than wanting to be at a market hog show. But unfortunately for her, I tell you, that young lady's a better stockman than where she's going to place today. I can tell that about her just in the presentation of the hog and the way she has that one fit. Then the young lady's black one kind of lets her down. So then we go to the two gentlemen here in terms of shaking out your champion. How do you run with them? And honestly, it's really separates them quite a bit for me in terms of eye contact alone. You know, I think that if we could just change that about one of them, they probably win. I think we've seen better angles of one pig. However, the eye contact, presence, poise has been better in one. Our gentleman that ultimately gets reserved lost them, maybe looking back at the pens a little bit, a time or two for some guidance. I'm all about that in a market hog show. In showmanship, maybe I prefer it just to stay here and let the kids try to ride it out and see how it goes. But one of those things, you know, not talking bad about anything or anybody, but it's one of those things that the eye contact to me is so important when we have them laser focused and locked in like some of those champions have been. The one that represents that best for me among our others that we have out here, young man closest to me, he'll be your champion. Our other young man here will be reserved. Our young lady that goes in 3, I tell you, she's the one that can win this thing a bunch in the future to me. I tell you, fellas, look out because she's got her game face on and she's ready. She just needs a better partner out here today. We can let your gilt go, honey, if you can step over. It's fine. And then our other one, again, that goes 4. Again, unfortunately, that barrel just wanted to find his way out. And then our exhibitor that goes 5, we kind of just left him in 5. To me, there was a big jump as we go from 4 to 5, and we took a while to get 5th there. Does an excellent job. Again, one that maybe just on that first impression didn't find us as good in terms of hitting all of those angles. Even in terms of body position around that gilt, I'd like to see you step forward a bit and be able to drive her in a bit more elevated fashion, but it has a bright future ahead. Get some coaching under, can do a great job here against these others in the future.
The first heat of age 11 Swine Showmanship can be making their way to the holding pens. These exhibitors are Colton Phillips, Kay Sexton, Stella Ninchuk, Bailey Blankenship, and Shelby Banham.
as we get out here in this 12-year-old age group. For me, it comes down between a young lady in the center and a young man furthest away from me. Neither one of them are just perfect in my mind, but to me, again, we go back to those first impressions, and the one that just commands the ring. Unfortunately, that barrow does want to find the exit on us. I hope she can get enough out of it in the final round, but young lady on the far side is going to be your champion. When she does get out here on the side, that one is as elevated and up-headed as any of them. And again, her presence and poise just absolutely commands the ring over maybe our young man that falls in two. And again, you've heard me mention skin and hair a few times. That hair thing is important, guys. If you're unsure what to do when it comes to clipping, just leave the hair on them like she has. It's better than peeling it off and making them ashy and all that different stuff. So, I'm not going to beat that drum too hard here today, but one of those things, I've seen several, especially belted hogs that were clipped really tight. Leave that hair on them if you're unsure what to do, or ask some of these kids that have been toward the top today. Or a young man that does fall into two, one that's very highly presented. Again, him compared to the young lady, to me, if we just change your overall just presence and poise and just a little bit of posture, I guess, at times, just want that go get it, I'm here to win type of attitude. Because honestly, your guilt knows her way around the ring. She knows what to do. If you could just get locked in and come get it, take it from her, I guess, in terms of that. And at times, maybe your guilt got just a bit more start and stop. I know her barrow there wasn't perfect either, but a great group there at the top end to be battling it out here for years to come. Our exhibitors in 3 and 4, both these guys had trouble getting their hogs off the fence, maybe wanting to run a little bit more. Again, maybe that first impression out of the gate, not what the others were as well. But again, both these guys, if they get some hogs that can cooperate, to me, the one that just knows their way around the ring a little bit more, the one that's maybe making the early exit there, he's going to be 3. Our other exhibitor here is going to be 4 that had the track star. That one, to me, maybe suited better for the midway in terms of the pig races than here in the show ring. But we just need to get that one to slow down for him, get a bit more control out of it. We can let him go. But great job. Let's give him a hand as they head back.
Congratulations, age 12 Swine Showmanship. First place, Addison Stratman. Second place, Landon Blankenship. Third place, Pascal Stahl. And fourth place, Jax Dodson. This is the first call for Class 11 age showmanship. The second heat, Marilyn Stahl, Lillian Davidson, Claire Wassner, Lacey Gray, Emmett Boswell, Logan Sanchez, and McKenna McCoy.
We've got a big second heat coming. I'm just going to hold 2 back out of this class that came to the top. Again, we had another 2-stepper straight to a pin. I tell you, if you're a kid yet to show today or one of those seniors that won and maybe weren't one of those, I tell you, watch him as he comes out, guys. Got that hog absolutely ready and dialed in. Our one that's really close from a young man out here in the glasses, he's really, really close, guys. He knows his basics, knows what to be doing. Again, just simply need a better partner out here for him. At times, that Gilt obviously wanted to get a little bit further toward the rail than ideal, and maybe lost him a little bit to the crowd here behind me in terms of eye contact as well. But just in terms of his posture, his presence, he's right there on the edge in terms of making it in. Our young lady with the calico gilt got just a hair close to me at times. You know, like to see you in a little bit further away and try to stay out in front of me as best you can. And unfortunately, our young lady with the Duroc barrel, again, another track star here ready for the midway. We might be able to make some money on the pig races later tonight, but unfortunately not the best thing out here in showmanship. But again, let's give these kids a hand as they head back. We'll get on to your next heat. All 3 ladies that we're going to be sending back to the barn, ones that just simply need to see out in the middle a bit more often, a little bit better control. And certainly, you can tell by their demeanor and presence, they know what needs to be done. They just need that pig to cooperate a bit more for them compared to our 5 that we have held back. But I tell you guys, especially if you're one of these kids that have got sent back to the barn today, take a look at these 5 hogs that we have coming out next. And when I talk skin and hair, every one of these kids got them on point and ready. We ask every one of our customers when they come buy a pig, you need to set aside $100 right off the bat for skin and hair products. Say nothing of bedding and time and all of those things that go into it. But Again, we're all here to learn today, but you have 5 out here that to me are getting it done at a high level. A lot that you can learn from if you're one of the exhibitors got sent back today. We'll get into sorting these top 5 for you.
Age 10 of Swine Showmanship can be making their way to the holding pens. These exhibitors are Wesley Tucker, Riley Borchers, Gideon Flesher, Kaylee Loizo, Paisley Tyndall, Bradley Clem, Travis Brandenburg, Jackson Davis, and Josie Davis.
Well, guys, a really challenging class, and we have these things when showmanship is late in the week, and these hogs have seen the ring, especially good hogs, have seen the ring a number of times. We lost what would have been my champion to the exit gate there. Young man, you can let that barrel relax. He's fine. His day is done for now, but that is one very, very good stockman over there on the far side, and I tell you, he's going to win a lot of buckles and titles in the future. Just that barrel wanted to find the exit on him. Unfortunately, those things happen. We got to know when to let her go. But and how far do you beat him for that? I'm not going to beat up on him too much, but. So then it comes down to the other two, and really it was a race for second and third in my mind, and that's what took me a little bit longer. I planned on using the young man in purple the entire time, but unfortunately not able to do that at this point. So now where do we go? For me, the next best in terms of hitting all the angles, lines, getting one stuck and driven, keeping it on the move. I hope we have an old-timer showmanship, because I want to see somebody in the crowd out here get out and do it, because I know he wasn't too happy with them when they were trying to tell him how to get it done. But it's one of those things. He's going to be your champion today. I'm going to jump back. I'm going to jump back to our young man in purple for reserve. Again, does an absolutely incredible job. He was my champion from the word go. In 2 steps, I knew he was the one to beat. Unfortunately, that barrel let him down. Young lady in the plaid here, another one that got to the pens very, very quickly. When that one came back out, maybe doesn't have the same go and get out there in terms of hitting the lines, angles, all of those things. If we could just see that barrel go a notch faster. But I tell you guys, in terms of skin and hair and having one dialed in to do it with a white one, I know it's got some scratches from here at the fair maybe, but that is very, very hard to have a white hog looking that good. Young ladies did a tremendous job all summer. Our hogs are going 4 and 5, very similar. I've visited with each of these exhibitors just in terms of maybe some whip placement on the animal to maybe accelerate them with these top 3, but a great group. Let's give them a hand as they head back.
Congratulations, age 11 Swine Showmanship. First place, Logan Santos. Second place, Case Sexton. Third place, Claire Rosner. Fourth place, Lacey Gray. And fifth place, Bailey Blankenship.
We got 5 held back and we got just 1 heat here, so we'll rework those here in just a moment for the 4 that get left out. I tell you, one that with a little barrel with a better attitude. The young man looks like a stockman over there in the glasses. I wish that one would cooperate for him and allow him to demonstrate how good he is. He'd be really close. Young man driving the white one across the center right now. Boy, if we could have done that early in the drive, we'd run you in there for sure. And again, as we make those turns, want to use the front door of that pig rather than going around the back door like that. But if we could get that kind of drive in the crowd, really like a lot of things about the way he gets through there. Our young man out here, the off-belted one, again, like some of the other kids we've talked, like to see you just get that whip a little bit lower, more parallel with the pig rather than working up here so high. Young lady, again, has a barrel that's just a bit harder headed, wanted to run the rail for her. Wish we just simply had a better partner, but let's give them a hand as they head back to the pens.
Age 9-year-olds need to be making their way to the holding pens. These exhibitors are Jack Wilson, Ansel Hatfield, Emma Charles, Kay Stahl, Bryson Davidson, Sadie Woofer, Elijah Newberry, Lainey Wood, and Noah Barkhurst. Please be making your way to the holding pens.
I tell you guys, from the minute we started here at 8 a.m. to now, we have as impressive of a class that we've seen out here. Our top trio is very, very good and takes it to a high level. I hope these families can get these kids to Columbus later in the week or somewhere. That they need to be showing more than just here at the Clermont County Fair. I promise you that. They're good enough. Get them out, take them, hit the road with them, whatever you need to do. But Louisville is not too far from here. I'm telling you, this age group, these kids are very, very good and need to make that trip. But it's one of those things, even among an elite trio like we have out here, there's one that has been laser focused from the time the first gate swung. Young lady is going to be our champion. To me, her eye contact and just presence and poise as she drives that gilt along is just second to none in terms of getting that one presented to a very high caliber. Does just an extremely good job. 2 and 3, young man, you're very, very close. You'll be our reserve. For me, young lady beat you on the rear view there. If we could just maintain that same eye contact that you had so good on the side on that rear view, I tell you, it's going to be fun watching you three battle it out in the future years. Young lady that goes third, as we got into that rear view, she got crossed up on me just a little bit, went around the backside of that hog. That's the only mistake she made all drive, but it was a costly one at the wrong time. But a tremendous showman there to be staying in 3. Our young ladies here in 4 and 5, again, ones that had hogs maybe just didn't have the right attitude. Young lady in 4 got a bit further away, utilized maybe a bit too much of the ring for me. Young lady in 5, I love the fact of how she had one that was hard-headed, but still stayed with that soft touch and managed it throughout the first heat. Did an extremely good job to work herself up here to 5. Great job to both of them. Let's give them a hand as they head back. A little more crowded class, I guess, but we're just going to leave them out here. To me, the top 2 should jump out at everybody, regardless of where you're sitting. For me, it comes down to these 2 young men closest to me, the one here in the blue and the one in the orange. I think they do a tremendous job in terms of getting them stuck. You know, and then how do you sort them within each other? Both these guys come with that same aggressive attitude, come get me that we like. I think one handled that rear view just a little bit better in terms of keeping that barrel out on the move. Young man in the orange will be your champion. Young man here in red will be reserved. Good job, guys. I'm telling you, this champion drive here later today is looking fun, and some of you older kids, you better look out because these young ones are coming for you, I promise. They do a great job in terms of getting them stuck. Third through fifth, and even third through ninth, or whatever we have here, get a great deal closer for me in my mind. The ones that maybe just came to the surface in terms of eye contact and navigating their way around the ring just a little bit better, come down to our other two young men here, the one with the black-headed one and the blue one. I'm going to like to use young man's blue one ahead in third. For me, he does just a little bit better job getting that gilt on the side, getting her stuck. Love the up-headed look of this gilt. He's going to be third for us. Does a great job. And again, our young man with the black-headed one, again, if we can make you just a bit more comfortable, good job here, buddy. Doing an awesome job in terms of getting that one. His presence and poise in the ring kind of elevates him. His eye contact there was really good. Just need to see that hog on the move a bit more for us. Fifth is going to be the young lady down there in the plaid. Got a bit too far away, but again, eye contact was very good among some of the others. But again, for our others that head back, if you can just get them to do one thing here today as they come back in the ring, if they're in the county bred class, try to get them to continue to work on that eye contact each time they come in the ring. But great job to those.
Walker Nichols, and be making your way up to the holding pens. All first place winners need to be getting ready in the barns for final drive. These exhibitors are Madeline Griffith, Angela Jones, Kaylee Jennings, Mason Ross, Jonathan Nas, Kemper Shepard, Addison Strotman, Logan Sanis, Paisley Tyndall, and Kay Stahl. All first place exhibitors, please be making your way to the holding pens.
With these two exhibitors, unfortunately for the one, the hogs kind of sort themselves. We got one that wants to be a show pig today and the other that is ready for the fair to be over. So unfortunately, that's just the way they fall. Our young man here in the center, he's going to be your champion of this last age group. Does an excellent job getting that one presented. Again, skin and hair is on point. Young man looks like a stockman, does a great job. Our young man that goes to, again, just unfortunate for him, that barrow's had enough of the show ring here this week. But again, bright future ahead of him. Let's give him a hand as they head back, get into our champion overall here.
Congratulations, Showmanship age 9. First place, Kay Stahl. Second place, Jack Wilson. Third place, Noah Barkhurst. Fourth place, Elijah Newberry. And fifth place, Emma Charles. Congratulations, first place, Showmanship age 8, Brantley Clem. Second place, Walker Nichols. Entering the arena at this time is all class winners from ages 8 to 18. At the conclusion of this final drive, we will do our adult showmanship, and then after that, we will do Peewee showmanship. Please listen carefully when we are calling Peewee up to the arena. We are only going to do 10 at a time, so please make sure you are listening for your exhibitor's name.
had 5, maybe even 6 or 4, somewhere in there in my mind from their class that were definitely going to be sorted off into our top 5, that we're going to rework a little bit harder. We're going to get rid of maybe some of the pigs that are just simply a little bit harder headed. They won their class, but maybe don't have the attitude to drive as long. And with the live feed here, we want to be conscientious of that. But, I don't want to take away from these exhibitors. They're very, very good and came through their age as well. Just to talk them in terms of why they're not here in our top 5, I guess. They do so much right, but they're going to go back, well, what didn't I do or whatever. But, the young ladies had to work her tail off with that particular barrel. I asked her to avoid that exit, and she's done so rather well. That barrel, again, if he could get an attitude adjustment, I tell you, she leaps into your top 5 for sure. Our young man with the calico barrel, that's one that, my goodness, the yard time that thing has spent, I tell you, that one could absolutely get here if we just get maybe a bit more eye contact and just, hey, I'm here to win, come get me type of look. And, in that, to me, showmanship is start to finish. And even in his age group, when I went to name him champion, I'm not sure he knew I was talking about him. But one of those things, I think a great stockman, if I wanted to win a hog show, that's a kid I'm getting one to feed for because he's a true stockman and can get it. And maybe in showmanship gets a little bit heavier handed on that barrel, wanting to mark it up a little bit. And then our other one that's really close in my mind, a young man here at the belted one, even our younger guy here at the belted one, both these guys show very similar to me. We just need to simply see those catch maybe another gear, work on those turns a little bit, and compared with our top 5. But we'll go ahead and excuse these. We can let you guys out. Awesome job. I encourage you to come up, watch your friends here in the final go of it. You'll be here next year, hopefully. First of all, let's put your hands together for your top 5 showmen here today. Absolutely incredible. You know, it's one of those things when you get called to do these, sometimes it's hard to say yes, and when it's so far from home and during state fair and all of those things, but my goodness, am I glad that I did. Say nothing of the hog show to come later, but I tell you guys, the showmanship here was worth the drive. I promise you that. It's one of those things that, you know, it's awesome that you have it on a day that doesn't conflict with the state fair, that these kids are able to do both and get back and forth a little bit. And my hat's off to your committee for making that happen for these kids. And it's one of those things that as they get out here, this is the one they want to win. I'm sure more than any. It's the same way with our kids at home. It's fun to do well at the other shows, but the county fair always holds a little bit of a special place, I guess, in their heart and in their mind in terms of what they want to do. We only have an award here today for one. You know, I can tell you kids, or I can tell everybody, I really don't care, 5th through 1st, where I'd have them. I challenge you, if you're one of our sponsors here, we have a ton of them, and thank you, by the way, for sponsoring all this stuff. But, man, I'd love to have some top 5 banners for these kids. It's one of those things that there are so many working so hard to get to this level. It's awesome to win your age, but this is that extra mile over the top in terms of getting it done. And it takes an effort, a mountain of work to get there throughout the summer. You know, in terms of where we shake them out. You know, I've talked all day about intensity in terms of just presence and poise. To me, we have some differences in here, you know, with that. Maybe some that are a little calmer, like the young lady out of our first class with the blue one, and then the young man in the red. Both those two, they show a little bit calmer, which they may win under a different judge. For me, I need you to dial it up a little bit in comparison with some of our others in terms of the eye contact and the fierceness. Our young man that won his class and was just an absolute hammer, I tell you, boy, with some ring time, you're going to get there. You're going to beat these older kids someday as you get here. Unfortunately, today's not that day for you, but my goodness, if you're talking about a kid trying to win a hog show, got a pig that's absolutely dialed in and great stick besides. And then for me, it really comes down to our 2 young ladies here as they drive right at me in terms of where they are, you know, just their presence, their demeanor, the way in which they drive those hogs. It's one of those things. I think a little bit of ring time maybe sorts them. For me, it's little tiny things in terms of that start-stop, maybe turned a little bit tight at time. That's where I think our younger exhibitor needs a little bit more time in the ring, and I tell you, it'll come for you. But for me, the one that's been flawless all day, our young lady here in the blue, she'll be your champion.
Congratulations, overall grand champion swine showman Kaylee Jennings.
Which they take very. They go to shows on Friday.
Yep.
We'll call them up and then we do. We're just gonna take the time to get knocked over and just get them in and out.
Perfect. We need all adult showmanship to be making their way to the holding pens. These exhibitors are Abigail Averwater, Robin Hatfield, Kyle Rosner, Samantha Davidson, Bethany Krebs, Sarah Stahl, Megan Taylor, and Jody Noss. This is the last call for any adult swine showmanship. If we can have the first heat of Peewee be making their way to the holding pens, these exhibitors are Charlotte Wilson, Kyler Cohan, Piper Stranding, Kennedy Reynolds, Scarlett Fetters, Kenzie Lee Stahl, Kirsten Gray, Emily Forsey, Ellie Terry, and Cora Shepard. That was the first heat of Peewee showmanship.
Guys, in our adult division, they told me it's kind of a serious deal for a big trophy on later in the week on Friday or Saturday, whatever it is. But I was joking with the adults here in the holding pens that, man, a way we can generate a lot of money real fast. In order to get into this show, you got to pay $20 and anybody can sign you up. So kids, cough up your $20 from your birthday card, sign parents up, and then you can buy your way off for another $20. So we're going to generate some money out of this thing next year real quick. I mentioned to you this morning, there was one person I recognized. I'm disappointed Tanya's not out here wherever she is, but she ought to be out here because she calls me every week from Showpig to pay my invoice. But if she could get out here and stick one, I tell you, I lost to you enough times when we were kids. And guys, if you're a family here today that needs some direction and what to do, I'm not here kind of poo-poo on anybody else or anything, but I tell you, if you're a young person that needs a farm, you don't know where to go look for pigs, not only one of the best showmen in her prime, but one of the best showmanship judges standing there ringside today. So it makes me a little bit nervous to be out here in front of her, but this county, when you see showmanship of this caliber, it takes role models like that, and there may be others who I don't know, but I tell you guys, class act as good as any, and a young lady standing over there if you need some help in the future. But for our ones that we have out here, it does come down to a trio of them. I guess our young lady driving the calico, our young man with the white one, and then our young lady here with the off-belted one. And honestly, in terms of judging hog shows, I've never been able to be bribed too much personally, but if they're willing to pay for awards for next year for that top 5 showman, young lady driving the calico gave me her word she's buying those banners and trophies. She's going to be your champion here today out of your top 5.
Congratulations, Grand Champion Adult Showman Jody Noss. Kaylee Jennings and Jody Noss will be representing the swine department at the show of shows on Friday. If there are any junior Fairboard members available to come help work the pig show, please come to the announcer's stand.
Well, we have a bunch of young ones out here, and these hogs are not wanting to cooperate the greatest for them. But some honorable mentions that I would like to highlight, as we don't have any winners, is the young girl in the teal shirt. She's doing a very great job. She's out here on her own, driving that hog, trying to keep it in the center. And then the little girl here in the striped shirt, she's doing good as well, trying to get that hog moving. It's not wanting to cooperate the best, but both of those are going to be very bright, have bright futures ahead of them. So great job, everyone.
This is the first call for the second heat of Peewee Showmanship. These exhibitors are Colton Shepard, Chase Trumser, Theo Pope, Cooper Pope, Boone Burbage, Tabor Burbage, Caitlin Lindsay, Asher Hatfield, and Lucy Riley. The third heat of Peewee Showmanship can begin getting ready in the barn, so we ask you do not come up to the holding pens until we call your name to come up. These exhibitors are Caleb Davidson, Mason Haddix, Aaron Haddix, Jackson Newberry, Lindley Jarman, Rylan Ninachuk, Addie Ninachuk, Willow Nichols, Reddington Stahl, and Ellie Doss. This is the second call for the second heat of Peewee Showmanship. These exhibitors are Colton Shepard, Theo Pope, Chase Trumser, Cooper Pope, Boone Burbage, Tabor Burbage, Caitlin Lindsay, Asher Hatfield, and Lucy Riley. Class 3 of Peewee Showmanship can begin making their way to the holding pens. These exhibitors are Caleb Davidson, Mason Haddix, Aaron Haddix, Lindley Jarman, Jackson Newberry, Rylan Ninachuk, Addie Ninachuk, Willow Nichols, Reddington Stahl, and Ellie Doss. Again, that was the second call for Heat 3 of Peewee Showmanship.
We have a few less out here, so it's not as hectic, but this young man right here in the blue checkered shirt, he's doing a very nice job at keeping that barrel moving and keeping good eye contact, staying out in the center of the ring for as young as he is. And then the second one is this little boy here with the brown in his shirt. He's also doing very well, keeping it going and getting his head up when he can and keeping it moving. Nice job.
Heat 4 of Peewee Showmanship can be getting ready in the barns. These exhibitors are Megan Sanas, Axel Fancook, Grace Fancook, Cyrus Stahl, Hadley Dietrich, Oakley Fleming, Mason Ninachuk, Ansley Fletcher, Jenna Newberry, Piper Ealing, and Emma Gibson. Again, that was getting ready in the barns for Heat 4 of Peewee Showmanship. Heat 4 of Peewee Showmanship can begin making their way to the show arena. These exhibitors are Megan Sanas, Axel Fancook, Grace Fancook, Cyrus Stahl, Hadley Dietrich, Oakley Fleming, Mason Ninachuk, Ansley Fletcher, Jenna Newberry, Piper Ealing, and Emma Gibson.
These little ones out here are trying to work really hard, and they're doing a great job. Some more honorable mentions is the young man here in the blue. He's trying to get that barrel to keep rolling. wants to stop a little, but he's keeping it out in the middle of the ring to his best ability. And this girl here in the cheetah shirt, she's working that hog, trying to get the best out of him. Give these young ones a round of applause.
This is the last call for Heat 4 of Peewee Showmanship. Again, the last call for Heat 4 of Peewee Showmanship.
Okay. This is our last class of Peewee Showmanship, and they've all done such a fantastic job. I would like to highlight the young girl back here in the pink with the little bow in her hair. She's doing a great job trying to keep that barrel off, or that gilt off the gates, has eye contact, and really trying to present that hog. And then this young girl right here, she's keeping that barrel moving. She's really into it, trying to get its head up. So give this last group one last round of applause.